Hello and welcome to the first episode of Journey to the Cloud. My name is Dmitry, and before we even start discussing today's topic, I want to kind of present you with a quote from a very famous leadership teacher or spokesman, Simon Sinek, and says, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." And the whole principle is built upon the golden circle, where the um, insides is why, then how, and then the outside layer is what. And that's important because people and companies and businesses often start doing something, specifying what they do, instead of specifying why they do it. And Simon decided to kind of look the other way around. And he found out that it is actually more beneficial for us to start with the why. So today's episode is all about why learn cloud. Uh, Before we go any further, a little disclaimer that the following material might contain significant simplifications for the purpose of explanation and learning. Today's agenda, we start with different level reasoning, then general consensus overview, then actual benefits overview. Then we'll touch upon the certification with becoming 10x certified, and then finish up with the contribution overview. So, different level reasoning. So, experience in the cloud for different people, for different types of engineers, or in general engineers, can be, apart from being a professional developer who's always in the cloud, uh, is the following. Engineers can have no experience, almost no experience, because of the lack of IT experience, or different tech stack, or even legacy scope of day-to-day work. Maybe they don't use cloud because their system is quite old. Other engineers with a little bit of knowledge already, they use cloud services as hosting, basically doing the same type of development, maybe legacy scope of work, but just using cloud as a sort of get stuff online. And finally, development is all about getting stuff done in the cloud, using cloud services, um, like engineers who do cloud native development. So these are three main people who would benefit the most learning about cloud in different types of areas. For example, the whole cloud BOK or body of knowledge roughly can be divided into core knowledge or fundamentals, core concepts that enable people use the cloud as an engineering perspective in terms of building blocks for services, maybe development patterns, accessing the services in various different ways. Then there goes breadth of knowledge, meaning that you know what's out there in terms of services available, what they do, how they complement each other, and finally, the depth of knowledge, meaning that you are aware of how things are built. What are those building blocks that were mentioned in the core part that together combined get you the actual service, or how different services intertwined, how they built the same way, maybe in some way, that may influence your decision on whether to go with one service or another. So bring this whole thing together, meaning people actually use the cloud, engineers, and the body of knowledge the cloud services provide. We are roughly in the area of those people who never use the cloud would benefit the most using or learning core concepts that clouds are using. Those people who use hosting or clouds as hosting would benefit the most finding other ways to host their workloads, basically um, extending the amount of stuff they know about cloud breadth wise. And those who do development in the cloud, so cloud native applications, they would benefit the most learning in depth how different services are related to each other. But for various different reasons, these typical groups of developers or engineers look at the cloud and the whole system working as a big, scary amount of stuff that they need to learn, like in school. And basically, what we end up seeing um, is that the cloud development and cloud native apps are getting dragged, um, like slowed into kind of like adoption. Um, so general consensus for the whole like explanation of why the adoption of cloud is a bit slow by businesses, by engineers, generally falls down into like four different categories. And these are popular opinions. So we oftentimes see that cloud is all about technology or maybe usage, like many people use that. Or income-wise, cloud development is good, you earn more. Or opportunities, whether that's a job opportunity or like networking opportunity. So in general, like technology-wise, cloud is considered the most like new and modern thing. Uh, it's trending nowadays. It's compared to like the buzzwords that we hear every day, like blockchain or AI, and cloud provides you with like tools to do everything almost. It is widespread. Most of the companies are either already in the cloud or migrating to the cloud or migrating their workloads in the cloud. So it's quite popular and widespread. That means those people who actually know how to do cloud development, they earn high yield, and those who can architect or make decisions in terms of what services are better suited for the a typical type of workload are earning even more. So, um, and finally, yeah, job and network opportunities. People who have some knowledge of cloud, or cloud, or are cloud engineers, certified or not, they tend to find jobs and network opportunities easier because they're on the edge of like development trends. But if you think of it, you can kind of say the same things regarding like any modern buzzword technology, be it a Kubernetes or Ethereum blockchain, or maybe AI with TensorFlow, big data with Hadoop, or like etc. etc. So I think there are different types of benefits that you can get learning the cloud, um, and those benefits are kind of like not really popular. They're hidden benefits that most people don't get to think about because promotional materials don't really mention them. And these are IT knowledge, solutions, and interconnections. Uh, Bear with me, it doesn't seem to be like that much of the reasoning or the actual benefits. So we'll get into like what I mean by saying, for example, IT knowledge. So if you take a look at this picture, mind me, it's quite old because currently AWS, for example, evolved and offers many more services. But the idea is the following: is that no matter what you do in the cloud, or be it like a front-end developer, for example, you will end up using at least one of the services that is new and new to you, and not necessarily kind of connected with your day-to-day job developing websites, well, web applications, and that being IAM, identity access management. It's all about like getting the cloud to know you, who you are, and cloud giving you permissions to use it. But if you just take a look at what other options are available to you once you start using cloud, you get to see that people who work in the cloud and or know the cloud, they get to know the databases, different types of databases, for example. They get to know the difference between a database and just a storage block. Object storage. They get to know a bit of networking with virtual private cloud and different types of strategies for deployment and management your workload in the cloud, and so on and so forth. So I think the IT knowledge that you get when learning the cloud outside of your main scope of work is tremendous and vastly overlooked. The second one is that if you do have a bit of knowledge and you're comfortable with your knowledge in IT, cloud provides you with different ready-made solutions. Um, as you can see on the screen, there is like a separate YouTube channel called "This Is My Architecture," where like the most famous technology and not so much technology companies provide their like insight or sneak peek into their architecture, showing you how they solve different problems. So this is what you get. And AWS, for example, and I'm sure like other cloud providers that we're going to mention in later part of this video, they provide and they do a lot of work to kind of simplify the learning curve, simplify the or generalize different architectures, and come up with actual cloud patterns for you to actually go and use that are proven, sort of like a your typical design patterns. And finally, for those who actually do use cloud extensively, but never got to kind of learn it properly, um, by doing so, by going through a certification, for example, or by reading, starting from the very like uh, foundations of cloud development, they get a benefit of understanding how the whole thing, whole cloud, is actually interconnected. Pardon. So tools and services, how they interconnected, how different tools that they're already probably using in their development practice, like different infrastructures, code frameworks, or different services like automation, serverless stuff. All of those tools are interconnected, and you get to know how, and that can drive or change even your decisions that you make for the architecture. So no matter your motivation, actually, be it like you think that those hidden benefits are not really are not enough basically for you to start learning the cloud, maybe the popular benefits like increase in income would sway you to actually start investing your time into learning the cloud, or vice versa. So, but a good thing that you kind of now have what's out there popular and a hidden. So, becoming 10x certified reasoning. Why 10x actually? The idea of putting it 10x instead of 3x, as I initially intended because of my certificates, the amount of my certificates, came to me from one of those business coaches, Grant Cardone, and his very famous quote: set targets that are 10x the goals that you would ever dream of. And that means that no matter what you plan to do, it's better to kind of aim to the moon. So even if you miss the moon, and you will end up among the stars. that sort of logic. What it comes down to in practical sense in the real world is that you get like three main clouds and many more cloud solutions like IBM or Alibaba Cloud, but you get three main ones that get some like relatively big chunk of market, and you choose whatever you want to do with or whichever you want to start learning. I chose AWS, for example, and you then start looking at what they kind of provide in terms of certifications. So Azure with Microsoft actually provides like 73 different certificates or exams for intermediate level, and maybe double that amount for professional um, level. On the other hand, Google, for example, provides you with just one certificate or cloud engineer, and then a bunch of professional level certifications. So, like, why is that? Why Asia provides you with lots of choice, lots of exams and choice of where to go and how to fine tune your experience, and Google Cloud, for example, doesn't. It doesn't really matter in a practical sense. That's why I chose AWS again, because AWS for me seems like a middle ground in terms of the stuff that they provide. So you have opportunity to go for solutions architect or sysops administrator or developer, and then based on what did you accomplish, you can choose a different professional path. So that sort of middle ground is all about like AWS in my case. Um, but no matter the cloud provider, choosing whether to go for one or for many really comes down to whether you want to know everything the clouds kind of provides, or whether you want to specialize. And as you might have noticed, that AWS and I'm sure other clouds too, they offer some kind of specialization, usually after the associate level. So, why going for many certifications? That's a T-shaped skills questions. If you want to be T-shaped, you need to have some breadth of knowledge, the broad, covering broad area of IT knowledge, and some specific specialty, meaning specializing into one sort of thing. So, taking all three architect, operations, and developer certifications, and then going for solution architect professional gives you like a huge leverage um, uh, in terms of knowledge. If even if you go for the solution architect associate, or compared to. So what is kind of beneficial in terms of the real world? So no matter the cloud, if you get certified with that particular cloud, you get some in-house bonuses in terms of discounts for next exams, for example, access to different communities in terms of Facebook groups. Um, you also get some private or like limited email broadcasts from AWS directly, and then also some invitations for different events that they hold. And again, it's not specific to AWS, Google, and Azure and other clouds. I'm sure they do the same. So there are some real benefits apart from being smart or smarter. Um, and if you do get certified, if you do get some knowledge of cloud, you can contribute. For example, I can talk about AWS again, since I'm AWS certified. And now, even like after the first certificate, I think AWS kind of allows you to participate in their exam or certification preparation activities. Like you become subject matter expert. Those are special people who check or help AWS in some way or another to improve their exam quality. And, and you can imagine that by doing so, you not only get to know AWS as a cloud provider and as a body of knowledge better, but you also get to kind of experience those exams firsthand. Again, NDA applied. Other thing you can do once you get certified is joining official certification lists of people or certified people. In the case of AWS, for example, that community is called AWS Heroes. Um, that's a special kind of community where you can contact or see what people are going for in terms of certifications, what is the spread of different types of uh, people or experts, business or engineering wise, that do get those certificates. And yeah, optionally, you can reach out, you can talk to them. And also, those people um, not only are getting certified, but they also kind of contribute to the AWS, in that case, adoption, meaning that they give some talks, they provide mentoring um, for clients. They do something that is getting them noticed and getting that particular cloud recognized and spread among other people. We also have the same thing in EPAM. It's usually called EPAM experts, and that's not kind of directly related to cloud development. These people, experts, they're actually experts in various different ways. And if they get certified or officially recognized, if you say so, by their knowledge, you can see them here in the experts digital platform. We also have CloudX programs. So if you really into cloud development, if you're just starting out, or if you actually got certified, you can either go through Cloud Excellence educational program, or you can actually start contributing to that same program, meaning that you will be one of those experts who help improve the engineering excellency or awareness or adoption of the cloud inside EPAM systems. And there are much more things that you can do once you get certified or once you increase the level of knowledge, once you go through a proper learning of cloud. And that brings us to the conclusion of today's video. So, engineers of different levels, they have really different reasons to kind of improve or learn cloud development and even get certified. And by getting certified, they usually go through a really rigorous process of learning those fundamentals that they might have missed during their day-to-day experience with the cloud, whatever that might be. Knowledge of the cloud has many different benefits. Again, missed knowledge that certifications, for example, force you to cover in one way or the other. So to be continued, as always, be learning. Keep in touch if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next episode of Journey to the Cloud.